in response to the truth video about Steph. This is the order that was put in place in 2015, where Kelsey had lost custody of Braden for a while. My son was arrested in 2015 for alleged abuse of Braden because he showed up with a hairline skull fracture. My son was put in jail and released after 4 days. I can show the statements that say why he was released, because Kelsey and Luke both said that they woke up and Braden had fell out of his crib into the hardwood floor. And even with that, just with that accusation, because Kelsey had left to run to the drive-thru to grab a pack of cigarettes and some Mountain Dews. She was gone for about 10 minutes, and Luke was there by himself after Braden fell out. Once Kelsey went back to her family with Braden, they noticed it was about 2 hours after she left Luke's mom's house with Braden. Her family noticed that Braden wasn't acting right, like he had a headache or something, so they took him and had him checked out, and they found that hairline fracture. They immediately came and arrested my son, even though Kelsey had said that he fell out of the crib. Luke was only alone with him for about 10 minutes. Kelsey admitted said that too. Another family member, which is one of TNT's friends, was also questioned because he had been around so many different people. The hospital did not believe that him falling out of the crib into the hardwood floor would cause that fracture. But with Kelsey's statement that Luke had been there 10 minutes and that she found him there and found Braden like that, and blah, 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 Luke was released, the detectives released after 4 days of being there in 2015. But with just the allegation, because they believed that there was abuse, Luke would show up, Braden would, there's pictures of Braden that I've got from even before he was with Kelsey, where he had bruises all over him. Tracy can verify that. He always had bruises on him, he was crying, had burns on him. Now this is even before that Braden and Kelsey were with him. A lot of it can be contributed to just roughnecking. Because he played hard. He was a cute little boy. He played hard. The burn that was on his arm before she got with come from a curling iron, and I have the statements there where his aunt said she left it on the counter, and he got a burn on his arm there. But this, she lost custody of him because it looked like he was being abused quite a bit. And in hindsight, he wasn't always around Luke. He was around a lot of other people. And there was another story where someone from her family was passing a cigarette to the back seat of the car to someone else, and it fell on Braden and burned his foot. I've got all this documentation. So he would keep coming up with burns and bruises. He also had a bout with bacterial meningitis. So he had a rough way to go. So CPS removed custody and gave custody to a family member. This family member here. This name that's blocked out right here is Braden's name. Okay, and she got him back. She got him back. She got full custody of him back. But that order was still in place. Okay? The temporary custody expired. It is further ordered that there should be no contact with BryanSt.John, which is my son, Luke. Kelsey worked a lot. Luke was a baller. he made his money sitting at home, like a lot of people do. And when she went to work, she would leave Braden with Luke, violating this order. Now, the reason I'm bringing this order up is because this is in response to the light truth. I really would rather not be talking about this at this point. If people are out there per se saying, well, you called CPS on Bryan. No, she didn't call CPS on me. She called on Kelsey. She called on Kelsey because this order, this order right here, ended. It was only in place until February the 14th. And that's the day that Braden died. The group that was set up was Justice for Braden. And I would get in there and argue with these people, and I wasn't at my right state of mind, because my son was telling me he did not do this. But the more I looked at the case, and I gathered up everything for that group as well. All the documents, all the orders, the discovery pack. I put the discovery pack out. I got that. And our lawyer got in crap for that because I got the discovery pack. I filed for a motion for Information Act and got every single bit of the trial except for the sentencing. And I was doing it like it was a true crime, even though it was my own son, for this group. They even, and see, this is how I know that people get it wrong sometimes in cases. There was a document where they were questioning Kelsey, the police were questioning Kelsey, and they asked her about disciplining. And they said, how do you discipline Braden, And the answer that was written down was, well, I'd smack him in the head. I've got that document too. So I'm like, wow, how can they convict my son when, she's already saying that she would smack him in the head? And they asked, why would you smack him smack him like that? Why would you do that? And she said, well, he hits me. But she literally sat on the stand and in papers and said that Luke wouldn't even yell at Braden. He never put a hand on her or him. And so the more that she talked, the more I'm thinking, okay, my son is not lying. But anyways, I don't want to go into that whole thing. They proved to me, in the end, that my son is the sole person responsible for the physical abuse on Braden that caused his death. I believe that. However, the group, Justice for Braden, were on Braden's side. They weren't on my side, they weren't on Kelsey's side, they were on Braden's side, as far as the group goes. A lot of them started to question, well, if they had this order that Luke wasn't supposed to be there, and she didn't follow this order, then, is she to be held accountable too? And what are you going to do about that grandbaby? Because Daryl Ferguson, they had a son together. His name was Ryan Jr. We called him RJ, or Stink. I like the nickname Stink. Daryl is also in prison for murder. And there was concern that Daryl would get out and have resentment against RJ. There was concern that Kelsey may get with another person and just, just not be tending to it. And the whole group was concerned. So what we had, and the group were saying, well, maybe somebody ought to call, maybe somebody ought to write letters, and maybe somebody ought to do this and ought to do that. So I come into the group, and they said, well, we're going to do this, and we're going to call down CPS. And I said, if that's the way you feel, then go ahead. Do it. But nobody called on me. Tracy didn't call on me. There was lots of people that called CPS and wanted to be sure that RJ was not went back to custody with her. And eventually they did let her go back, but they removed him from her custody this year for other reasons. But it's not like Tracy got mad at me and called and, said, well, he told, his wife told his daughter to piss his pants. It's not like Tracy got upset because I booted her out of my chat and called CPS. And you don't see Tracy running around telling other people, like Hello Starlight, Hey, maybe a CPS ought to go over there because FOD threatened it on her. FOD also threatened to swat Molly. Okay, so FOD didn't become concerned about anything in my family until I booted her out of my chat. Then all of a sudden she's concerned. There are much worse things going on now with people's children. As far as should a mandate reporter be concerned? But no calls have been made. FOD's not concerned anymore. And she's going to stand behind, well, I suspected abuse. I suspected abuse. You didn't suspect nothing. You suspected that you came in my chat and acted like an idiot, and I threw you out of it. That's what you suspected. And the letter that we got, and I'll say this again, the letter that we got after they came and checked everything out said that you were wrong. Your mandated reporting was wrong. There was no abuse. If you could take a child that's trying to come out of their room because they're being punished properly for misbehaving, the proper way to punish your child is to place them in a timeout or put them in the room, make them stand in the corner, something like that. And she pulled the I need a drink, I have to pee, and Nicole did let her go in the bathroom before she went in her room. But Mommy, I gotta pee. She said, well, pee your pants then. That got changed to, well, piss her effing pants, which me and Mandy Bell got an argument about it. She said that was what was said, so I played the clip, and Mandy Bell was mistaken. Nicole told her, piss your pants then. And then the next morning, I had my daughter on a live, and I said, did we? You just wanted out of your room, didn't you? She goes, what do you mean? I said, well, Mommy put you in there last night. Did you really have to pee? She goes, no. No. The reason that she told her, go ahead, pee your pants, because for one, she knew she wouldn't, because she didn't have to go. And for two, if we used to fall for that. We'd let them out. Okay, go pee, and then they would lock the bathroom door, and we had to fight with them to get out of the bathroom. No one abused that child. Again, it's not like we called her a slut in front of 2,000 people. But there's no concern there because FOD never got booted out of that chat. But the fact of the matter is, for someone to say that Tracy got mad and called CPS, no, she didn't do that. Tracy was concerned for a child that was going to be placed back in the care of someone who did not follow an order. See, because the bottom line is, had this protection been put into place and followed correctly, we wouldn't be having this discussion right now. And you can see that there's the case from 2015. Okay? But this order, it goes on to be signed by Kelsey. Now, when you have the murder of a child, and we all knew each other, the Fergusons, the Bittners, the Martins, we all knew each other, and we lived within a mile of each other, there is going to be some bickering. There's going to be some bickering. And it was bad. But when I see them today, they just walk on. They don't bother me. I don't bother them. I feel sorry for those people. They lost their grandson, their nephew. I feel sorry for them. But I'm just not. At that time, people were attacking us left and right because of what our son did, or what their brother, his brother, cousins, all of us. TNT put up groups about us while she was calling us, pretending to be on our side. See, people keep saying, "Well, you rode by her house." Yes, I did. For one, she told me where she lived because she was talking to us every day on the phone. She was talking to Nicole every day. She told Nicole that she worked with disabled people. And they would talk, and we would talk. I put up a voicemail from TNT where she said, "Oh my God, I can't believe this. I know that Luke is innocent. I feel so sorry for your family." And I don't know if anybody remembers where I put that up. I put that up. Okay, so she told me where she lived. Now, she said, "Yeah, I live back there." And she don't live there now, so it's not like a doctor. But she said, "Yeah, I live in over the Combs right there behind the pizza place. The first apartment back there." I said, "Man, I ride up there all the time. I ride those hills because there's trails back there." And I was getting my exercise. I lost a lot of weight back then. I was down to 180 pounds. And I did it through riding the bike in the summertime. I'd wait for it to get nice and hot. And I would ride up that hill. And I had a little GoPro thing going on, and I would film it. I made tons of films of me riding. So I happened to be up there because and I said, yeah, I ride there. I said, if I see you out one time, I'll stop by. She was my Facebook friend. I said, I'll stop by and smoke one with you. I smoke a lot of weed. And had TNT been sitting outside that day, I would have been welcome to stop there and say, hey, we can smoke one, because we were friends. So as I'm coming down through there where I was going anyway, I'll put this video back up if I have to, because I'm sick of people saying, well, you rode by her house. I didn't ride by her house with any malicious intent. I rode by there because, I just happened to go by a friend of mine's house on Facebook. Anyways, but while I'm filming this, I got this camera on the front of my bike, right? And people want to give me crap for the bike too. Lance Armstrong rode bikes. It's good for exercise. There's millions of bikes out there. I got my bike that I got hanging upside down to this day that I haven't rode for a while. It probably costs more than most people's cars. A lot of people's cars anyway. But I was just happened to be coming through there. I was coming up that hill. I would go up this steep hill. If you look up where 3rd and Smithville is in Dayton, I would come up that hill, and then I would cut around through Overlook, and then coast back down about a mile and a half coasting. I could just sit there for a mile and a half straight down. So I would push up the hill. I put it in low gear and push up the hill, and I built the back of my calves up, my knees, my back, my shoulders. You can just see me struggling. So when I came back around, I remember that Trish lived there. I said, oh, there's Trish's house. There's Trish's house, right? You can see that right in front of me, there's a stop sign. This car runs this stop sign and does a U-turn and then takes off. And I said, oh, he ran a stop sign, blah, blah, blah. And I zoomed up a little bit, and I got his plate number, and I read his plate off. Trisha turned that into, he stalked my house. He was running off my plate number. Blah. This was 4 years ago. If not more. Yeah, right about 4 years ago. Right? But you can see in the video that I said, hey, there's Trisha's house. And I just kept on going. Didn't make any comments about her. And then I showed myself coasting down the hill. My bike hit probably 30 miles an hour. Right? That's the difference between just riding by and saying, hey, somebody you think is your friend, as opposed to, how far is he from Mom? Let's take a video. I'll pay you $40 to knock on his door. There's his trailer. There's his single wide with his crappy Halloween stuff. You know those crappy Halloween stuff and stuff that we let our kids pick out that they wanted, that they bought, that they put out there. Good on you for that. But no, Tracy did not call in revenge CPS. But none of us here are angels. And we can't say that we're all angels. I'm not going to disclose everything. I like it when I'm able to call someone and say, hey, I heard you did this. I heard you did this. And they say, yeah, I sure did. I respect that. But we're all guilty at some point, because if you get into an argument with somebody on Facebook or YouTube or something like that, it's only natural to find out, to find things out. It's only natural. No, Tracy's not as vicious. See, she's sort of is like me. There are people going to say, you did this and you did that. That's a damn lie. Okay? That's a lie. I ain't never called nobody's work. I have doxed a couple people. But I haven't just doxed somebody because they were getting at me. I dox people after I tell them to leave me alone. Stop messing with me. And actually, if you guys think back and you remember back, I never just put up somebody's information, except for FODs. And I had a backing of a lot of the community. Some of them are still friends with her today. They said, yeah, go ahead and do it. Because I asked around before I did it. Yeah, go ahead and do it. But the other people that I doxed, when I doxed Laura, I had her do it herself. Even her mods didn't know that was her last name. She took the dox that I put on my video and put it up on her screen and said, "That's my mom, that's my brother, that's my ex." I never did that. She did. But I think I've done it maybe 3 times. I got TNT too, because she kept coming at me, yeah, F you and your wife, N-I-G-G-A, y'all stupid. So I did a flyby of where she lives. I didn't say anything. I just did a flyby of where she lives. There he goes, doxing my house. I never said a word. I just made a video. But at any rate, I never just flat out dox somebody and their family. Never. Never happened. I've gotten them to do it. But at any rate, I just wanted to come on here and clear up some things. For one, we shouldn't be discussing Braden Ferguson. See, a lot of people have used the death of that child to get back at me, or make me feel like I'm somehow responsible for the physical aspect of his death, and I'm not. I'm not. I'm never going to be. It used to bother me when people would say that. Yeah, you raised a baby killer. Well, no. Because that's not what we raised him for. He was grown when he did that. And he was actually a good kid up until that time. So, you know, you're not going to be able to get at me with that. And most of these people that come at me, you know, about the Braden situation, they never knew him. They never set him on their knee. They never listened to him giggle. They never heard him say, "Hey, boy." None of them. You're not going to make me feel like I'm a demented person because one of my offspring did something stupid. It's not going to happen. He got what he deserved. And, you know, some of these people, some of the family are still in troll names today, like Everett Scott. I want them to remember this. Every time they see Kelsey. And with all the calls that were made to CPS about her and this order and having her making sure that people that didn't want RJ to go back to her, CPS did not respond to them. They waited until she did some things on her own. She did have a CPS case, and she was supposed to follow some classes and stuff like that, and she didn't complete them. They gave her a chance. It wasn't the calls and the concern for the community that got custody of him taken from her. It was her own actions. But she has a daughter to this day. She's doing better. And the only person that when they found my son guilty, I made a video immediately that night. And the only person that I needed to apologize to was Kelsey. And that's what I did. And that doesn't bring Braden back. None of this fighting brings Braden back. But the fact of the matter is, no, Tracy did not up and call CPS because she was being goofy. She's got a little more morals than people think. And I've always said that with her. When I was making videos of her, dragging her, me and her would cuss each other out, I would still say that Tracy's got a little more morals and that she's going to do better than a lot of these YouTubers around here because she stands on what she believes in. You can take that to the bank and leave Tracy alone. How about that? If you don't mess with her, she won't mess with you. You see, we're not arguing now. That doesn't mean we're best friends and we're out frolicking and stuff, but I like Tracy. There's always been a part of her that I liked, and I've always told people this. You can go back and look at some of Hello Starlight's lives where I'm talking to 180 and Hello Starlight. You know, Tracy's not that bad a person. Oh, come on, Brian. Come on. Yeah, I can't believe you said that. Well, I'm just saying the truth. She's not that bad a person. She really isn't. She'll push it. She'll get right there on the edge of that cliff before she wants to jump into that drama, but she'll back off. Seriously. So let's just leave Tracy be. And this whole boomer thing, you know, all these people that are making jokes about people being older than them, that's a sort of racism. If you think about it, you millennials, you Generation X's. Why would you discriminate against somebody because they're older than you? They can't help their age. It just happens. Would you discriminate against somebody because they're a different color than you? If you would discriminate against somebody that's older than you, You might want to think about that. Boomers are some of the best people around. We have seen this country when it was good.